So let's talk about that darn cat. In this past class, we were looking at real stuff, real objects. And we're taking what we learned from the first class on when we're using styrofoam, cones, cubes, and spheres. And we start to slip into some simple objects. But what happens when we get into more complex objects? And I threw out this sculpture as right in the beginning, right out of the gate. And it was a little bit sneaky of me, but that's where we push that bubble of I can't draw that to yes, you can. You can draw anything that you want when you start looking at like an artist, staying in that space of, oh, this isn't a cat, because something happens. Let me talk about this. I put this out and you're like, oh, that's a cat. It's a cat. I can't draw a cat. Shut down. But is it a cat? So did you hear what I did? I named it. It's a cat. I can't draw a cat. When we name things in our brain, it's a horse. I can't draw a horse. The minute we name something, we label it, I can or I can't, or our brain, or what can be worse is our brain will short wire, take a shortcut, and start drawing what we think we see. And that's when we're doing something and we're like, why am I drawing this? It doesn't even look like this. It becomes this like weird thing. And you're not able to stop it, your brain. So we're going to short wire your brain. We're going to slow your brain down and start looking at this object as it's a cat to no, this is a real object in the image of a cat, but it's not a cat. It is an object that has some simple shapes to it. So let's talk a little bit. We'll stay in the moment of the cat. What makes it feel, or what we automatically associate to the cat, are the ears, the eyes and the nose and the position of them, and the tail. And kind of the silhouette, the way it's standing. So it feels like a cat, but it's not a real cat. It's an object that's built of some simple shapes. So when I turn the face around, or I turn it upside down, then I can start short wiring my brain and saying, oh, the Amazon box on this is a tall, narrow rectangle, right? And the base has some straight lines. I'm going to look at it in simple shape, not in curves, but in straight lines. So when I start doing that, I'm trying to grab my stick here. So when I start doing that, then I could start to see, oh, this base has some simple lines like this. It's a rectangle. And the top of it, so it's a rectangle. And the top is almost a square. Do you see that? Doesn't have fur or whiskers. It has a smooth surface. It's relatively thin. It's not thick. It's a thin object. And it consists of two simple shapes. Well, three. We'll count it as three. We have the base right here. We have this neck area, like a bottleneck. And then we have a top. And the top doesn't go straight up in line with the base. It angles. You see that? So this object is not a cat. This object consists of 3 simple shapes. And we're going to start constructing it and building it so that we get the proportions and the relationships of 3 simple shapes. Notice I didn't say eyes and nose. I didn't say that. 3 simple shapes, the body, the neck, and the head, and how they relate within the box. Okay? Your real teacher is from life, but today we're going to use a color, black and white copy. We're going to work from a photograph. I have a photograph and then a black and white copy. So you can pause this video. I sent an email with this, run a copy so that you have it. You'll need your sketchbook. Grab your pencil. You can go with I lost my pencil. You can go with a 4H pencil to draw light, or you can do your 6B and just do a light hand because we're in the construction phase. And you can have your eraser, but erasers are just to make corrections after we draw. Okay, so what we're going to do with that is reach your hand out about 3 feet and drop your eraser so we don't rely on it. Okay, so let's jump into the drawing portion of this. I'm going to switch my camera. Okay, so what do I have here? What you see is a colored photo to the upper left and then black and white. So when I look at this black and white photo, I'm going to start with my Amazon box. When I put this into a box, I'm basically saying that this cat will sit this location on my page. Okay. And when we measure, we have to do a quick measurement. And when you measure on paper like this, on a black and white photo, you get the widest point of the object. I'm just going to go the widest. This ear is going to pop out of the box. It's okay. I just know that. But the widest point is this base. I'm going to hold my thumb, turn it, and go 1. So the first third, well, I know it's 3s. 1, 2, 3. So this is 1 width. The widest point goes, and try it. 1 happens at about the tail, the height of the tail in this knee or this thigh. 2 happens about right here at the top of the neck, at the mouth. 3 happens at the top of the ear. Now, I'm just going to, I've got my measurement, the width. So I'm going to go to my paper because I know that the cat will fit on the page, right? This cat, I'm going to go 1 to 1, will fit on my paper. So I just do a couple marks on my paper. Do a mark and a mark. And I'm going to drop my straight lines. I'm going to indicate the base about 1 inch or 2 inches off the bottom. Then I'm going to go 1, mark, 2, let me check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got it. So I try, if it's a little bit too short, I adjust. 1, 2, 3. So now I have the where the tail hits, right here, in the thigh. I have the top of the neck about where the head happens. So the base and the neck are here, and the head is up here. Okay. Now let's find the center line of this box. So the center line is about right here. This is just a starting point. Okay, now we have our Amazon box. Now, if I look at the center of this, I'm going to find the real center of the photograph. One. So I'm using two different tools. So if I find the center on the black and white, the center actually happens about right here of the box. So what I'm seeing is that the center of the box, the center of the cat's body happens a little bit to the right of the center of the box. And the nose is happening right on the center line. See that? So the center of the body happens a little bit to the right of here, the center line of the box. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. So now I've established where the paws and the legs come together. And then the head pivots at this point. So the head pivots at the center line of the legs. And it's this angle. So if I go like this, it happens there. And you gotta hold your pencil, your angle, don't shift your angle, but it happens like that there. And just capture it real quick. So the angle happens here. I lift my pencil, don't move it, and it goes right there. And that doesn't feel right. It's not right. It's actually going up here. Draw it, and then adjust it. Erase it. I'm realizing something. The nose happens right there. Okay. So I'm working out some things here. The intersection between the neck and the nose is up here, so it's a little bit higher. Right there. It rests on the center line of the box. There we go. Okay, that feels right. So the box happens about right here. The tip of the ear goes off there. Remember I said that the ear over here pops out. So this is where the top of the objects fit. There's the box. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is about a third to the nose. 1, 2, 3. So the nose happens a third of the way up the box. There we go. Then the neck, it happens. Isn't feeling right. The neck happens to the right of the head. Then the shoulder comes down over. The tail happens here. And then do you see the neck here? And then there's a line here. And work through that really fast. So the shoulder point happens about right here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to clean up some lines here so that you can see it. So I'm basically doing a 2D flat geometric shapes. And I'm kind of not measuring at this point. I'm just going with what feels right. The tail fits right here, so the body comes about right here. The thigh right here happens about right here. You see that? That distance and this distance. I allowed for the thigh here, and the tail goes over here. Okay. So I have the tail, I have the body, and I have the leg. I have the body is right here. I have the neck, and now I have the head. All right, so let's start drawing this thing. So you can start about anywhere at this point. The body feels the simplest to me, to be able to just start laying in this area right here. So let's get the neck, and there's some roundness here, and then it comes down to the shoulders. Here's the body. Let's get these ears on. If I look at where do I want to go with the cheek? I think I'm going to go with this cheek right here. It's not a big circle. See, this circle is a big circle. This is a little circle. So it's a tight. And then this one, it's a big. You see the difference between the circles? This one's a tight circle. This one's a big circle. Okay. The ears, I'm looking at the angles now of the ears. This one actually goes a little bit, you see the difference? This one angles out just a little bit. So this angles out a little bit. All right. So now I have this angle and this angle. And the tips of the ears are marked. Now, this ear goes straight up and down. This line goes straight up and down. It's a little bit angled. 1 o'clock. I'll say 1 o'clock. And then this angle here is at the 9 o'clock. So what does that mean? That means about right here is the top of its head. It's on an angle. And then this goes straight up. You see that? No. Now I'm going to look at my cat. It feels like this is a little bit too narrow. So I'm just going to adjust it. I'm going to widen this area. There we go. Make adjustments. And ask myself, does it feel right? I draw, and then erase. Okay, good enough. It's feeling like this. They're feeling good. I'm going beyond a little bit and I'm okay. I'm poking that ear out, it's rounded. I'm poking this ear out, it's okay. The box just gives me an area for it to live in. Okay, so we're about ready to wrap this baby up. So let's go with this thigh over here, happens right here, and the tail happens here. And I'm going to go ahead and exaggerate the tail a little bit, that pop out of the box. And then I'm following this line. And then this negative shape right here happens about right here. Just how easy that tail popped in. Now, let's go with these paws. The front paws actually drop down and from the back. Do you see that? This line? So the tail happens up here. So I'm going to drop the paws down. And then the body as it goes around in here. So it has kind of a round smile to it. Do you see that? Okay. So I have pretty much the contour line of the body and the contour line of the leg and the tail. I come up to the neck. This line. Now I'm just looking at my curves. I'm looking at the curves and how they feel. That feels good. Okay. Now let's get the legs, the front legs. So they go up. Okay. I think of these, they almost look like scarves in a way, don't they? They look like a scarf, like it wraps around the cat. And do you see this angle right here? This chest, this shape? Do you see that shape? It's almost a diamond. So if I look at that and it happens about here, the point happens pretty low. It happens really low, maybe down there. So this point right here happens like this. And then this angle comes down. It's a long angle. And then this one is a shorter. And ask myself, does that feel right? So I'm looking at the white shape. I'm looking at this shape. Does that feel right? Yeah, that's close enough. And then if I look at this shape here, it happens about right here. And then this line here happens about right here. And then do you see this dark shape over here? You see a little bit of this comes here. The base, do you see that? Happens about right here. And it comes up. And this. And make my adjustments. And if it's not exact, I'm okay with it. Okay. The nose, I said, happens here. Let's go ahead and put the nose on. And I asked myself, does that feel right? Even though I based everything off of it, it feels a little bit low to me. So I'm going to lift it up. That feels a little bit better. This is a construction phase, so it's just working within and asking myself, does this feel right? If not, I'll lift it, okay? And the eyes are almost in line with the top of the nose. You see that? They go in the same, they're not here, they're not out here, they're over here. And if I look at I'm just finding it within this space. And again, I'm going with how does it feel? And then here's a circle. There's a circle. There we go. And then we sense this top of the head. Do you see these angles right here? We sense that. So you can put an indicator, but don't draw it dark. Because it's not a round head. This isn't a round head. It's not a circle. It's a shape. It's almost a squashed ball. And then at the eyes, they are circles, are kind of teardropped like that. Do you see that? And then the mouth, I know you're sensing the cheeks here. So the mouth. And we don't want to draw that really dark because there. That's it. And I'm looking at some things here. And you can get crazy with this so easy. So right now, I'm going to stop here because I'll go crazy with it. Right now, what we're looking at, does it feel, if you look at my drawing, does it feel like the object that I'm looking at? Do you get the sense that, yeah, that's what I'm looking at? It's not a lighthouse. It's not a barn. It feels like this sculpture. And the shape, the proportions, and the relationship feel good. Okay, so that's like I said, you can get really crazy with measuring and getting everything exact and perfect. But that's not what this class is about. This course is about being able to see something that your brain shuts off and like, oh my gosh, I can't draw that. And flipping it and saying, wait a minute, I have the tools and the understanding of how to get it so it feels right. It feels good. It feels like I'm looking at that object. So we're taking what we learned in the beginning, how to simplify the shapes and the relationships and the proportions and relationships and how they fit together within the simple object. And when you do this, and I do this when I paint, I have my canvas and I start laying out, okay, the objects where they lay on the canvas with the square. And then I do the quick, simple shapes, break down. And then once I have that, everything comes together so quickly. And I'm not trying to, I'm simplifying, and then I expand, just like the cupcake. You can't put the sprinkles on the cupcake until you have the structure, the body, the cupcake made. So that's what we're doing. We're short wiring your brain. This is not a cat. This is an object in the image of a cat. It's built up as simple shapes. And then from there, then we could start carving out. We know where to put the eyeballs. We know where to put the nose. And then we can start going into the sprinkles, the detail. Okay? So have fun with this. We did it on a whiteboard before, and I thought, let's do it on paper and give you something that you can zip through, have fun with this. Don't make yourself crazy. Just anything that you do from now on is better than what you could do before. Okay? And have fun with it.